years ago, James Bowen was battling drug addiction and sleeping rough. James was down and out in the UK and didn't have much reason to survive until one day an unlikely four-legged friend wandered into his life. To tell us his incredible story, James joins us here at the Studio 10 panel. And Bob the cat joins us via
There's my boy.
Wow. Now, before we go on, can we just check, is that cat mic'd up?
No, it is not. Bob.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Bob, give us a high five. Give us a high five. Come on. There we go.
How did you guys meet?
Oh, he was hiding in my building, my supported housing building. He'd obviously been injured. He had a big abscess on his back leg, but I didn't know this at the time. And he'd been sitting on this doorstep for 3 days. And basically, after the third day of him sitting on this doorstep, I knocked and said, "Is this your cat?" And they were like, "No," and they sort of closed the door. So I took him up to my place, which was on the 5th floor, and while I was feeding him, I discovered the abscess. So I took him to the RSPCA the next day and pretty much spent the last money I had at the time because, you know, I was on benefits and busking and selling the big issue. Bought the antibiotics and treated him for 2 weeks. During that 2 weeks, tried to find everyone in the neighbourhood, if anyone knew him, and nobody seemed to know him. So I just sort of adopted him. Well, he adopted me. Cats adopt people. So,
they do, don't
you know, and he followed me around. He kept following me down the street, and then one day he jumped on the bus with me and went into Covent Garden with me. And it was a bit scary at first, but, you know, he absolutely loves the attention, as you can see, you know, when we're out and about.
This is a special cat. How did he turn your life around?
Oh, well, you know, just by coming out with me every day, it sort of, it gave people, you know, he just attracts people, and they would come over and say, "How come you've got a cat now?" And say, "Well, he follows me everywhere. There's not much I can do about it."
You were struggling at the time in your life, it's fair to say.
Oh,
you were struggling with addiction. Talk us to sort of where you were then.
I was on a methadone program, and I was coming down, and I was going to switch over to Subutex. I'm not sure what it's called in this country, but it's a drug that they use to basically land you down. Yeah, it's sort of, he sort of like. It basically became not about being so selfish anymore, having to care for someone else, you know. And he was there for me, you know.
You said I was just reading this bit of this book before we had the break, and you said
literacy book, yeah. We're currently working with charities.
You quite like the sound of his purring.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's very soothing, you know. You know, he's always there for me. You know, he leaves me alone when I want to be left alone. I leave him alone when he wants to be left alone. But, you know, we have a pretty good relationship, Bob and I. So.
And apart from this great relationship that you have with Bob, you've turned it into an incredible literary success. Tell us about these books.
Well, this one here is My Name is Bob. It's sort of my imagining of how Bob came to live with me, because I call it the mystery of Bob, you know. So we're doing a series of these children's books. They're, you know, the bedtime story type ones, and they're beautifully illustrated. But
and you're a best-selling author.
I couldn't believe best-selling in the first weeks, you know, and I think this one, A Street Cat Named Bob, it spent 64 weeks in the Sunday Times bestseller list.
Oh!
And then, of course, we did a...
Just tell me who your agent is.
My agent is called Mary Patch, and I'm incredibly grateful to her forever.
I need a cat. That's right. That was my mistake.
Yeah, this is at one of our signings for the sequel, The World According to Bob. I've done so many books in 4 years. It's you know, and I mean the Big Issue Australia made him a honorary badge, you know. So even though he's not here,
Brilliant.
So what's next for you two? I'd love to have another little look at Bob over there.
Can we get another look at Bob there?
He's he's so
Bob,
obedient.
you're going to give us another high
Very well
five?
behaved.
I wish my cats would do that.
Come on, buddy, give us a high five.
Oh.
Come on.
Hey, Bob, what's next in your career?
Come on, you're not James. High five. Good boy. Good boy.
I assume your whole life has changed. You're not living in the same dwelling that you were living in when Bob turned up in your life.
I've actually managed to afford my own home now, so it's crazy. I've gone from being on benefits and housing benefits and, you know, drug addiction to being, you know, being an advocate for homelessness and animal welfare and now literacy as well.
Without being too trite, do you think it's because you had someone to love?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, James. And thank you as well, Bob. 40
look at that
That's a big star. Thanks very much for coming on Studio 10.
Thank you very much for having us.
Incredible story.